Alright, so we're going to do a video about one player that every Premier League team should buy. Alright, we're going to start off with Arsenal, who one of the players I think they should buy is Modric. I do think the price tag is a little overwhelming for the player that he is, or what there is to be expected of him, but there's no denying he has talent and potential to grow. Another player that could be good for them would be McAllister from Brighton. And if they cannot get him, Tillmans would be also a good option at center mid role, as I think that their depth lacks there. The next team would be Aston Villa. One of the players I think they should get would be Danjuma, as they could use help up top, and he's a great asset. He's versatile and can play anywhere. Another of the players I think they should get is Pau Torres, who is phenomenal, one of the best up and coming, and he could really do some work balancing out that defense for Aston Villa and Unai Emery. Next team we have is Bournemouth, who I think they should go for Tanganga from Tottenham. I think he could be a good asset to their back line, as I think they're starting to score some goals with Kiefer Moore. Billing has been pretty good, so in the defense is where they're lacking. Tanganga would be a good acquisition. Alright, so the next team that we have is Brentford, who I think have been really well this season, outstanding. And I think if they just add a little more players, they can have the depth that they needed. So one of the players that I went for was John Duran, who plays in Chicago, who's been doing pretty good. And I think that joining that system, he's just going to thrive more. And I think a midfielder would be a great asset for them. Another player that I've been seeing is Morten Hjulmand, who plays for Lecce, who have been doing pretty well as well. And again, just another midfielder that I think is going to thrive under their system. Next team we're going to go over is Brighton, who, again, really good team. I really like their style of football. So a couple more acquisitions, and I think they can comfortably sit in the top of the table. One of the players that I'm going to go for is a midfielder called Fratesi. He's a talent, supposedly, and he's doing pretty well where he's at. So if he comes to the Premier League, he's just going to do even better in that team. And the other player that I was going to go for, Terem Moffi, who plays in Lorient, who has 10 goals in 16 games. Typical number 9, who they need, and it's just going to bag goals for them. And I think that's the last piece that they need to be able to play that beautiful football. The next team that we're going to go for is Chelsea. Now, Chelsea are an interesting team just because they are unexpectedly so down in the table. So they have already got a couple of reinforcements, but I think some other ones that they could use are Denzel Dumfries being one of them on that right wing back side. Since Reece James has been very injury prone, they could use another quality right back. Another one that they could use was Declan Rice, since N'Golo Kante is looking to leave, Jorginho's looking to leave, so Declan Rice would slot in nicely into that midfield and add up to be something special. The next team is Crystal Palace, who could use a couple more reinforcements. One of the players that I think they could use is Wan-Bissaka, who found his form there and was able to get the big move in Manchester United. So I think a loan move back would be good for them and for him to hopefully reform and refine himself. Another player that I think that should join him is Antoine Semenyo, who plays for Bristol City and is a very good striker. They lack in goals sometimes, and this player is up and coming, so hopefully he can give them that extra factor. The next team is Everton, who I think they should go for Ismail Assar. I think he's due a big move, and I think he can help Everton get out of that relegation zone and hopefully stay in the Premier League this season. The next team is Fulham, and I think the player that they should go for is Karsdorp, who has recently been out of contract since the Roma situation, but I think he is a good footballer and can adapt to the Premier League, as he is pacey and fast, can hopefully help this side continue in their amazing season. Next team is Leicester, who I think they could use a couple more players to reinforce their team and reinvent themselves. One of the players that I have is Jeremy Boga from Atalanta, who I think is exciting and could just add more into the wings. Another player that I have also is Boulaye Dia, who has been playing really good for Senegal, as well as the team that he is on. And again, just more goals, hopefully add to their season. We have Leeds, who have been pretty good under Jesse Marsch, but again, they could use some reinforcements. I'm not sure if they already got Max Wolber. However, if they did, that is a great signing. Another one that I had in mind was Guerrero from Borussia Dortmund. I think he's a great acquisition for the left back side. He would be phenomenal. Another one that I have is also Wood from Newcastle. I think he would be good just because I think he could be a target man and they could use him to score the goals. He might miss a lot, but also he might get a goal or two that are crucial for them. That we have is Liverpool, who got Cody Gakpo, which amazing transfer. They got him for cheap as well, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be exciting in that team. I think, though, they should focus on a center mid. And one of the ones that I've got in mind is one that they're targeting already, Matheus Nunes, who has been one of Wolves' best players, and he's just going to add to that midfield and play like he plays phenomenally. Another one that I also had in mind was Amrabat. Phenomenal does not describe this man. He was outstanding in that World Cup, and he is a workhorse. The way Liverpool play, he's going to thrive under Jurgen Klopp. That we have is Manchester City, who I saw could be potentially intrigued in a deal between Leao and Grealish. But I don't know about this. Leao was obviously a phenomenal player. Grealish hasn't gone up to the price tag, but I think he plays well under that City team. At least how they play now with Haaland, just trying to feed him the ball. I think Grealish is good at doing that. So there's that deal. And then the other one is Scalvini, who plays for Atalanta. Again, another young and up-and-coming player, just like they have been buying. Exciting. Team that we have is Manchester United, who there's a lot of good shouts for the players that they could buy. And one of the ones that I went for was Livakovic, who had an amazing tournament at the World Cup. He was one of the reasons why Croatia made it that far, and I think adding him to that team, since their keeper situation is getting out of hand, he would be amazing to witness. Another of the players that I think would be a very good acquisition would be Kolo Muani, who would be for the future, but he played really well under that France team, and I think under Ten Hag, he's going to be brilliant, so we'll see. The next team that we have is Newcastle, who they're in that race for top 4, amazing as it is. And now it's time to get serious, so I think they should buy some serious players. One of the ones that I went for was Memphis Depay. Barcelona are willing to sell him for very cheap. And I think adding him into that team, he was going to cause trouble to every single defender in the league because he is very tricky. So I think he would be a great acquisition into that team as he is very versatile. Another of the players that I think they should add is Jorginho, who as well, not really played for Chelsea, but I think he could be a great acquisition, a good squad player. But as well, he just had so much that he can add into that game and into that team. Amazing. Next team we have is Nottingham Forest, who, interesting enough, they bought a stupid amount of players and it kind of didn't work. But maybe these can help fix. I know it's more players, but we will see. One of the players that I think they should get is Michael Keane from Everton, as I think he can help that back line, maybe balance it a little bit and find himself yet again. The other player that I think they could buy is Doucouré, funny enough, as well from Everton, who I think as well he can probably help in that midfield and just give them a little boost. The next team that we have is Southampton, who I want to say they just need players to help him get out of that rut that they are on and just elevate themselves into the table. One of the players that I think they got, or I'm not sure if they've gotten them yet, is Orsic, who, brilliant player. He plays brilliant for Dynamo Zagreb, and I think he's going to be a great acquisition for that team. Very exciting for the Premier League. The next player I think they could go for is Oxlade-Chamberlain, who just a very versatile midfielder, run up and down the pitch, and I think he can find himself again, hopefully in that team. The next team that we have is Tottenham, who could use a couple players to maybe boost the morale in that team. One of the players that I think would be really good would be Pedro Porro. Maybe that could solve the problems on that right wing back side. He's amazing whenever I watch him in Sporting, in the UCL. He performs, and I think that is a very elevated step up from what they currently have. Another player that I think they could get is Edwards, the guy that they sold as well from Sporting, who very good, very versatile, and as well, he's just amazing to look at. He's one of those players that can just dribble past everybody and create stuff, and I think that's what they need. Next team that we have is West Ham, who are very underwhelming this season because of some of the players that they have. It's just unbelievable to me. But hopefully these two that I picked out can give them a boost. One of them being Juranovic, who had an amazing tournament with Croatia, and I think including him on that right back side would be phenomenal. He was amazing to watch, up and on the pitch the whole time, a lot of energy, and that's what that team needs. Another one that they could get is En-Nesyri from Sevilla, who as well played a crucial part in that Morocco team, and just maybe he can bag more goals than Antonio and Scamacca, but we will have to see. And the final team that we have is Wolves, who under Julian Lopetegui, I think they could get out of that relegation battle that they have. However, I do still think he needs to bring some players in. And I picked three players that he's been linked with. One of them being Isco, who amazing player to watch a couple years ago. His prime was unbelievable. And I think adding him to that Wolves team will bring something to the Premier League, considering how good of a player he is. The next one that I have is Acuna, the left back from Argentina that just won the World Cup. He plays for Sevilla, and Sevilla are not doing that good. Neither are Wolves, but I think this could be a better challenge. This isn't the Prem, so it could be good. And the last player that I have is Nacho Fernandez from Real Madrid, who knows Julian Lopetegui and hopefully can get something out of him, as he is a very solid defender.